Chinese United Front forms. Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong have issued a joint announcement declaring that they have set aside their differences in the face of Japanese attack. Both sides will observe a strict policy of non-aggression against each other for as long as the war against Japan lasts, and have vowed to do everything in their power to throw back the invader. A number of smaller warlords have also declared their support, putting their forces under the command of Chiang Kai-shek. Whether the long-term enemies of the Chinese Civil War will actually work together remains to be seen, and many experts believe that this will do little than delay the inevitable defeat of China. Guangxi joins. Mordred's got a dwarf on a raid. Rare one at that. Nice! I've still only got uncommons. Oh! Speaking of getting dwarves on raid, we do have a new download, so thank you very much for whomever that was. Very much appreciate that. And yes, you do get a cool animation playing if you get Raid as well. And if you want to see a cool animation of your own, you should definitely get Raid Shadow Legends, which is sponsoring this channel. And you can get it by going over to the link which has just appeared in chat over there, or to the banner which is down in the About section for the Twitch channel. And Raid is sponsoring the channel. We do get a significant sponsorship out of this if we hit those milestones. The next milestone is 90 downloads. And I am very confident that we can make it. So chat, prove me right. Let's get those going. Spain declared war on the Regional Defense Council of Aragon. Yeah, I thought so. Republicans are in trouble. That is a massive Aragon, though. What the hell? The Republicans done screwed up. The Republicans have really done screwed up. I'm going to save this. This is interesting. Regional. Yeah, exactly. Car lists when? It may happen. Continued government attempts at reasserting centralised control over the mostly independently acting anarchist communes in northeastern Spain, as well as Stalinist repression of dissident communist viewpoints, has now led to a full-blown infighting in the Republican front. Yeah, it has. Can I send volunteers? No. One of the things that we have with Metaxas is massively reduced volunteer limit. Somewhere. I thought. Or did we get rid of that already? Yeah, we need 40 world tensions. Currently it's 7. I think we actually got rid of that with the first level of Orthodox State. Yeah, send volunteers, tension limit minus 50. Which counters that. So yes, we've already got rid of that penalty. So we'll be able to send volunteers elsewhere. And in fact, if we'd gone full-blown fascist, we probably could be supporting the nationalists. It's just because we're non-aligned that it's plus 40. Xinjiang joins the Chinese United Front early today. China and Xinjiang issued a joint statement that the latter has now been formally granted member status of the Chinese United Front. Yunnan joins. That looks like there's a Spain player that wanted to go anarchist. It does. Oh dear, cut off though. That's a painful one. Just outside of Madrid, though. Zhongzi joins the Chinese United Front. I'm guessing they started with no soldiers here. That was probably the problem. I just need to take that or that. If they take Madrid... Okay, we're connected again. So they're going to be getting supply through. The fight for Madrid is occurring, and the Republicans are currently cut off, which actually means all of this is cut off. Which is very bad for the Republicans. Grand battle plan. On to prepared defense. I hope I've calculated this right. I think I have. It's going to be right at the end of December. No, it's not. It's going to be the end of November. Paying debts back in bulk. Done. Okay, now we're doing the 4-year plan. Metaxas has engineered a brilliant plan to industrialise Greece. Based on the Italian corporatist economic model, we shall achieve a measure of autarky and independence from the powers that bind us. Yeah, we're fine. Poland seeks Baltic cooperation. There is no outcome for us that does not risk yet more oppression of the Polish people. Following Poland's distancing from the international community, Polish politicians have been pursuing the idea of a power between the seas. While the hope is to create an alliance stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea, and they are already allied with Romania. Their stated priority remains to reinforce their position against threatening influences to both the east and the west. To this end, Poland is seeking closer bonds with the neighbours in the Baltic. That's really interesting. This is going to be a very strong Poland. Germany might be in a slight bit of trouble here. Okay, so we can pay back a large amount of debt payment. So we would lose consumer goods. We would also lose resources to market. However, this will clear half of the current debt with the UK every time it's completed. So let's do one large tranche of repayments now. Oh, can only do one at a time. Fine. I was like, oh, fine, I'll just pay them all off. Just do the lot. And we have manpower for the first time, which means submarines are back in construction. So make me one more of those. And then go back to submarine building. Marco Polo bridge incident. Oh, Madrid fell to the fascists. But they are now one whole line. Unfortunately, they're kind of stuck in the middle, so they're going to be fighting literally a two-front war on a very long front, which is actually probably really bad for the anarchists. Japanese and Chinese forces have skirmished inconclusively over the strategic Marco Polo bridge, located just southwest of Beijing, and it'll be really easy to cut them off again. And there we go. War in China has kicked off. World tension spikes to 14. At some point we are going to want the sharp-tongued lawyer so we can start increasing relations with various countries. I do wonder if we're going to be increasing relations because of the debt payments.
Another one.
Hey! Another one has joined Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for supporting the channel in such a way. And again, if you yourselves wish to support the channel, there is a link going to be appearing just over there and also down there. And you can do the same, because that sponsorship is incredibly generous. What are we up to? That's a good question. What are we up to? 72? $73. So we need another 17 to hit the 90. And then we've got one more milestone after that, which is 120. Oh, and also, it does keep flashing up with the contributors, like it does right now. Contributors are people who buy a pack. So for the first pack of in-game stuff, whatever the stuff is that you purchase, I get a kickback from that as well. And it is, again, another very generous kickback. So if you do want to consider buying like a small pack for like $1 or something, that counts. And it's valued for me the same amount as a gifted sub. So what they used to do is for every contribution that came through in terms of a pack being purchased, they would actually send a gift sub to the streamer. But they've stopped doing that because they found that it flooded the streamer. And also, I get the full amount as opposed to Twitch taking half. Cool sign. Thank you very much for those bits. That's incredibly generous. Thank you. I see why you chose to play these guys. It's even better business when you grease the wheels. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I like it. But thank you very much for that cool sign. You know what? In honor of that, I'm going to rename this stream. Because we had the Mercenary Company in Bannerlords because we were IRL playing mercenaries. There we go. We are now greasing the wheels. fact, I think I'll just call it grease the wheels. Makes more sense. There we go. Nice. I like it. So how long is this? Oh, okay, it doesn't take long at all. Great. So we could befriend the fascists, because we probably have the power for this. These large debt payments are only 50. I thought they'd be like 150 or something, but they're not. So the next question will be, are these going to be 50% and then another 50%, or is it going to be 50% and then 25%? Like, could we do 2 large debt repayments to the British and be done? Improved machine tools and concentrated industry have both come through. So that's all of the 37s. We're not going to bother with the fuel ones just yet. We could do some naval research, and I think I would like to get active sonar and depth charges at a very minimum. So that is going to require a little bit of refitting. We also need tanks. Let's get the tanks going first. And then we can also do 1 naval. So let's do passive sonar. Zhibai Sanma joined the Chinese United Front. Earlier today, China and Zhibai Sanma issued a joint statement that the latter has now been formally granted member status in the Chinese United Front. The war escalates. And radar for your subs. Eventually. Radar only really comes into its own for submarines and with sub-3s. Say this before you click the button before trying. Yes, you can pay 2 large ones to Britain, but it won't be ready just immediately after you complete the payment. So pay England, then France, and then big one to England again, for instance. Okay, makes sense. Although none of them have become available again. Recommission the American battleships. Rebuild the Salamis. The battleships Kilkis and Lemnos have been left in a bit of a sorry state since the Greco-Turkish War, but with some patience and determination we can get them seaworthy again. So if we have British docking rights and we remain at peace with the US, we can get 2 battleships? I bet they turn out to be like coastal defense ships. Or if we bolster the Schachtplan, then we get a early heavy ship hull with German assistance. Boom! So we just hit our 2nd contribution goal, so thank you very much for the support there. We are now on to the 3rd milestone. I think the contribution milestone can go all the way up to 50, so it's rather more ambitious. But thank you very, very much for that. Again, they do pay out very, very significantly, so I really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. We're absolutely nailing this. You guys are awesome. I don't say that enough, but you are. So what was the Salamis? With German assistance, it's become possible to rebuild our old battle cruiser, the Salamis, which we short-sightedly scrapped in 1932. Luckily, we still have the remnants of the old hull, so we would not be starting totally from scratch. Oh, it adds a production, so it's probably partially completed as opposed to a whole new ship. About half finished, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it would still be like 2 years to produce the full thing, maybe a year. I think I'm kind of happy building what I'm doing right now, especially as they're into war. But where are those focuses, just out of interest? So the Schachtplan was with the fascists if we do this. Right. Completed the focus bolster the Schachtplan. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it's over there. So if we went with Germany, exploit errata in the Schachtplan. Modify Schachtplan by increasing the number of goods, consumer goods required. Resources to market plummets. We get faster military factory construction and also cheaper economy and trade laws. Oh man, if you did that and cooperate with foreign monopolies, you would get 50% cheaper trade and economy laws. And then here's the British docking rights. Trade manufactured ship parts for investment. And you get docking rights to the UK. And then renegotiate our debt with France just completely voids that debt. Now we're not going to have the consumer goods benefits. Oh, I see, that would just go from -10 to -5. But massively reduces the number of resources going to market. And economy and trade laws. Oh, I see, it makes them less expensive. Yeah, it wipes out the trade cost laws. It reduces consumer goods by 5%, removes the resources to market and gives you a factory construction speed. That's probably the best one. Trade manufactured ship parts for investment. Possibly good, but I suspect that's going to be trading dockyard capacity. So we probably want to go with the German one. So we need to do that before we go to war with Germany. Just bought a pack and raid. Got a rare dwarf crossbowman. Oh, awesome, Hexdex. Yeah, I've still only got the 2 dwarves. I've got my dwarf tunnel warden, who's a crossbowman, and dwarf alchemist. Both of them are a bit but then the majority of my people now are rares. Once you've been playing a week and a bit, it's the rares you're focusing on. Also, Mordred, be careful with your navy. You have limited manpower and naval vessels use up a lot of it. We're going to have a fair amount of manpower, though, because we've gone with the farmer system, which... Sorry, we've gone with forcing farmers, which is more recruitment factor, and we can also befriend the fascists, which would give us another 15%, and we can also go with the Spartans, which gives us even more. Speaking of which, I think now is the time to start befriending the fascists. I don't know what you gain that base stability for. Like, why is it the -17 and then the +7? Why is that changing over time? Is it because we're becoming more fascist? Can you change civilian economy into partial? It's not blocked, but it's very expensive, because we have foreign monopolies and Schachtplan. Which is why we're starting to work on our economic stuff, so we can change those. What are the Soviet and Italian ones in the same tree? I suspect the Soviet one make up for the British-French ones being a bit weaker than the German. The Soviet one is just attend talks with the Presidium. Doesn't say what it does. I kind of wish that the tooltips were just like, unlocks decision. Tell me what the decision does. Like, even if it's just a summary. I want to know what that decision does. Yeah, enslaving the farmers. Wheat could go wrong. Indeed, Mark Guzman, indeed. Six dockyards for the British docking rights. Yeah. Oh, but I'm... Is that what they give you? It's just occurred to me that they may actually give you dockyards. So that one might actually be good, considering our plans. I was thinking it's us selling ship stuff to them, so that uses up some dockyard capacity. But in fact, it might be them investing in our shipbuilding capacity so that they can have the dockyards needed to harbour their ships. You get a decision to rent them dockyards for British investment. We'll make a decision. Like, we'll probably open that up to a poll, because all of them, with the probable exception of the French one, seem good. Also, the paying buff the debt seems to have just disappeared. It's gone. And this hasn't gone down at all. Okay, 4-year plan is done. 1st of December, how's that for timing? 1 month remaining. Okay, so we can... So we're getting into 38. I said at the end of 38 we would start working on these. Though it does somewhat depend on how aggressive Italy is getting. We have no idea what the Italians are doing. So, Greek autarky. Oh, we can't do fiscal responsibility because we haven't paid off the IFC yet. Ah, we're also not going to get the infrastructure buff from this. So we're going to need to do that. So Greek autarky will give us stability back again. We'll actually hit 100 stability with this. Construction speed will go down. Wait, what are we now? We're export. Yeah, so construction speed's going to go down. Research speed's going to go down. Output's going to go down. Resources to market's going to go down. However, we will give off less intelligence as well. I totally forgot free trade just opens up the intelligence to everyone. And then after this we can start making these decisions. So I think we're going to do Greek autarky. Or we could do the investment schemes where we have a lot of political power. Let's do that. It is a sad fact to admit, but we cannot industrialize on our own. Long have we been dependent on the capital and industrial capabilities of nations bigger than ours, and this era is no exception. So let us invite their capital and investments into Greece today, because tomorrow we'll never need them ever again. And I'm also going to grab the sharp-tongued lawyer and going to start improving relations with the 3 that we owe money to. Because this is now a fairly cheap thing for us to do. Like so. And then we'll probably start doing it with the Balkan buddies as well. Carlist Spain declared war. This is such a mess. So it kind of looks like the anarchists are dead. Carlist Spain declared war on Spain. The Republicans have got a little bit of a stronghold. The nationalists are now split in half by the Carlists, which could be good for the Carlists or bad for them. Because again, fighting on 2 fronts. Although I suspect that there are no troops back here. I suspect that this is completely empty, so that's just going to be Carlist. And then at that point it becomes the nationalists which are caught in the middle. Wary of being increasingly sidelined and having their influence over the nationalist front more and more curtailed, the Carlist forces under Manuel Falconde have renounced their affiliation to the nationalist cause. Declaring their own independent insurrection, the Carlist Roquetes, predominantly in the north of the country, have turned on their erstwhile allies, or at the same time continuing the fight against their Republican enemies. I did forget the Soviets. Yeah, alright. Although I'm not paying them money back right now. Okay, so we can do a large debt repayment to one of the others. Let's give it to the Italians now. And I don't think I want to befriend the fascists yet. We're going to do that later. Because I think that the more the fascists grow, and they are still growing because of the National Youth Organization, the better that decision comes for us.
Just 50% more to go. Come on.
Heck yeah! Thank you everyone for the downloads. We're now at 75 out of 90. So we need just 15 more Raid Shadow Legend download, then we hit that 90 milestone, which would be absolutely phenomenal. And then we're just one milestone away, that 120 from the maximum. Come on, we can do it. In fact, I strongly suspect that we can probably hit that 90 by the end of today. So I think that's going to be our goal. We're going to see if we can get that 90 by the end of today. So if you haven't yet got yourself a free copy of Raid Shadow Legends, you can do it by checking chat there, which has just appeared, or going to the banner down there. And all you need to do is sign up, download the game, play through the tutorial, and that's it. That counts. And then you can keep playing or not after that. It's totally up to you. It is a good game. It looks very pretty. And I'm sure that the people in chat who are still playing it right now would back that. And it's got a bad reputation. I'm not going to deny it's got a bad reputation because they are aggressive in their marketing through systems like what I'm doing right now. But it is a good game. Is it to the extent of like Parts of Iron or Europa Universalis or anything like that? No. But that's because it's a free-to-play. Like, set the expectations. For what it is, it's good. It is mildly addictive. There you go. Alright, so... First of all, let's see what these investments are like. Invite politicians for investment talks. Rebuke German investment. So I think we're probably going to do these. By ending our financial relationship with France, we'll also be walking away from our debts owed to them. Ah. So I wonder if the more we've paid off, the more likely they are to accept these. We can pay off the British now completely. Huzzah! I find it interesting that this is to entrepreneurs, whereas this is to politicians. Oh, it's just different text for each one.